It's time to talk Deadpool and Wolverine. I've just seen the film and I thought I would share my thoughts. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I've just got back from seeing Deadpool and Wolverine, and this here, 2024, the only supposed MCU movie of this year. I'll come into that in a bit. Starring Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and a wealth of other cast members, cameos, all this sort of a thing. Extended cameos, short cameos. You've probably seen them all. You've heard people talk about them. I'm not going to go into spoiler territory about the cameos, talk about the cameos in detail or anything like that. I want to talk about the film itself and how it sits in my mind within the MCU, if it sits within the MCU at all. Now, the film runs for 2 hours and 8 minutes. There is an end credit sequence that is worth sticking around for. Doesn't lead into anything else though, but it's kind of relevant to something in the film. Now, the film, we catch up with Wade Wilson, and he's at a point in his life where he's given up being Deadpool, and he just kind of wants a normal life. He's split up with Vanessa now, but the TVA turn up. The TVA from Loki, the Time Authority people, turn up at his doorstep. They take him and they offer him the opportunity to basically join the MCU, because his world is dying. The Fox universe is dying, because their main character, Wolverine, is dead. Obviously Wolverine died in the movie Logan. How that works time-wise, I don't know, but anyway, that's beside the point. So we have this story where Deadpool then steals one of the time travel things from the TVA and goes on a hunt for another Wolverine to bring to his universe to keep it alive, because without a Wolverine, the universe dies. Only the TVA ain't happy with him doing this, so they send him off to the Void, as we've seen in the Loki show. And over in the Void, he meets up with Cassandra Nova, who's the primary villain there. Professor Xavier's sister, this is. And a wealth of other characters that you will have seen before in other X-Men franchises and other films from 20th Century Fox and things like that. Not only that, he teams up with some good individuals there, kind of like a rebel force, including characters like Blade, Elektra, and stuff like that, and with Wolverine in tow, obviously, to stop Cassandra Nova. But they need Cassandra Nova because she's the only one that can get them back to their own reality, blah-de-blah-de-blah, and so the film goes on. So, okay. All right, let's get this off of the, this is a fun film. It's a colourful film. It's a vibrant film. It's a fast-paced film. It's an amusing film. Okay, that's, and it's got a wealth of cameos harking back to 20 years ago of comic book movies prior to the MCU. Now, I said at the beginning of this review, is this an MCU film or isn't it? No, it's not. This film does not really feel like it fits in any way, shape or form into the MCU. It has no ramifications moving forward with anything within the MCU. By the end of this film, and this is a spoiler here, Wolverine and Deadpool save their own universe. They save the Fox universe, and the Fox universe remains well and alive, which kind of makes sense when you consider the end of the Marvels, with the Incursion, with Beast. If we saw the end of the Fox universe here, that would have no bearing on anything. It would be pointless. right? I'm just thinking outside the box with this stuff here at the moment. So this plays like a Deadpool movie. A Deadpool movie honouring that which came before, honouring the superhero movies that came prior to the MCU. Yes, there's a connection to the MCU with one character towards the beginning of the film, who's been with the MCU from the very first movie. But beyond that, there isn't really anything MCU-ish unless you see it on a TV screen within the TVA. The other problem with this film is that you probably need to have watched the Wolverine movies, the Loki TV series to understand about the TVA, to understand about the Void. So you need to have that element of homework there. So ultimately, you've got a film here that, like I said, is a lot of fun. It's funny. It's fast-paced, it's colourful, it's violent, but unfortunately it plays more akin to a parody. It started to parody itself too much, and this is the problem, to the point where you've got jokes that are relevant to today. And this is a problem with a lot of parody movies, that when you start you have jokes that are relevant to today, it doesn't take long for those films to then become very much out of date. Look at something like Meet the Spartans. Now, this film is nowhere on near the level of that kind of parodying, but when you've got Deadpool saying, take your country's name out of your effing mouth, riffing on Will Smith and the slap and this sort of a thing, you'll get into a point where in a few years' time you've got a film that feels outdated with a lot of its jokes. And it isn't heavy-handed with these sort of jokes, but there are a few throughout the film that if they carry on down this kind of road with this kind of humour, you are hitting that parody, proper full parody kind of a movie. And that's the primary problem I had with this film. It's pretty weak on story, in a sense. It's all very much required in the sense of keeping the movie going. Things have to happen for the sake of it to happen to give you the story. Now, this film's doing very well at the box office, and I expect it to do so. There's great chemistry between characters of Wolverine and Deadpool, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. They bring a great deal of goodness to the screen, shall we say, and thus making it a lot of fun. But I don't know how great this one's going to play out on rewatches, and like I said, it has literally nothing, it has no bearing or consequence on the future of the MCU. So this really doesn't feel like an MCU movie at all, other than given the opportunity to poke fun directly at it.